It's so strange. It seems like on one hand, everybody wants to be an individual and represent themselves on Facebook and MySpace as being this special, dynamic, fun-loving, great person. But in reality, that's just the shell that they're portraying, you know? And do they have the guts to decorate their vehicle or their house or even their clothing or their outfit? You know? Not really. For the most part, I don't think so.
Art cars cut across all cultural boundaries.
It reminds me of like the old punk ethos, where basically like any sort of self-expression has validity.
I get to meet and talk to people I normally would not be afforded the ability to talk to, just because of society. But in my Santa car, all bets are off. And that's a wonderful thing.
For me, it was a way to change the today life, you know.
This is a work of love. This is something you just look forward to come over here and do it.
I think a lot of times you kind of have to just listen to the car.
It's all about how the automobile is essentially a fetish object.
Cars are a lot different to design than just a square painting on a canvas.
I think anything that can get people thinking differently is a really good thing.
This isn't public art in the sense of it's provided by the government.
It's visual jazz.
It's a piece of art, it's a piece of jewelry.
Because it's kind of improvisational and spontaneous.
Once you get into art cars, regular cars just bore you to death.
Honestly, if you build an art car and you can't get laid because of your car, then you're doing it wrong.
You were a freak.
But we're all of the same craziness, which is a good kind of crazy.
If you did this, you were a freak.
Everything was fair game. If you could think of it and pull it off, you could do it.
The art car scene, I think, is evolving into an actual art movement.
You've got the best medium in the world because you can do anything you want to do as an artist, and you can drive it around. You can take it to the people. It doesn't sit in a gallery or it doesn't wait for a show.
This is probably the first really working class movement in art.
To me, this is my gallery and it's going to become my showcase for the day, you know, so I'm going to have my art show at the Art Car Parade.
500,000 people coming to see art cars is just phenomenal.
This is one of the greatest confluences of creative forces and automobile technology that you'll ever see in your life.
I've been making art cars with kids since 1990. And I've been a teacher in HISD for a long time. This is my 25th year. I did it with 3 middle schools and then 3 high schools, so this is my 6th school. This is my 27th car with kids. 26 with kids, I made 1 for me. An art car at Sam Houston High School is this monumental thing because they're stepping just a little bit outside the box, and it is scary. The key is not only to win. I mean, we like to win. But remember we talked about that jaw-dropping thing?
She wants it 1 time, she wants it 2 times. Right is the reason when you got to unwind, oh boy.
I mean, we spend all this time in education trying to figure out how to increase a student's self-esteem. One of the best ways to do that is to give them a venue where they can shine. You're high school students, right? And you're going to be competing against artists from around the world.
I always thought, I'd probably see it, from a distance or on TV, but I didn't think that I was actually going to be making a car ever in my life.
My dad's a welder, so I've been with him since I was working since I was 8.
I wasn't really into it, but then Ms. Bad just put it in our heads, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a good idea.
I never worked with
group this big, never really been in a project or anything like that.
Now, get one piece of paper and y'all all work on it. So why did y'all pick the Beatles?
Pretty much because
Because Fernando's gonna be the blue one.
Because I wanted to be the blue one. Yeah.
There are going to be 300,000 people there at the parade, and you kind of sort of want everybody that's there to be able to recognize what you're trying to do and kind of identify with your car.
What I want is something to like pop out.
Why don't you have two Beatles popping out?
Yeah. Yes.
And then just have the two Beatles, like, you know, have you seen ballet? They come out and they're like, kind of like that.
I think this kind of stuff helps them go out in the world and be able to work with a group, you know, in Exxon or somewhere. They'll be able to work more in a group because they know how to do it, how to talk to people, you know, get them to do what you want them to do, and how to persevere and put your head down and just really get to work. I'm starting to see that they're getting excited. They're spending a little more time at school.
Put some bass on it. Make it drop.
They're looking forward to a lot of things. They're starting to think for themselves instead of, you know, what do I do, Miss Bass? It's like they're going, what if we do this, Miss Bass?
You know how there's going to be one standing, we should put like a girl holding this leg. Like crying.
Oh, that would be
great.
If you stand
Something like
right
that.
here, like she should
have, or like her inside the car and her hands are like coming out.
Your car was the thing that liberated you from your family, first off. I mean, it gave you a moment where you were free. You were individual, you were in the thing. I thought it was the great expression of was the great symbol of American democracy. And now I think those symbols have changed. Now our symbols are probably either one of the jet fighter plane or the bomb or something. Our symbols have become militaristic and technological. And I think at the same time, our cars have become so corporate looking that it's disgusting. What a bunch of boring cars on the highway.
If you want to talk about the height of commercial car design, you're going to talk about Harley Earl. This comes out of post-war design and also post-war luxury. We have access to chrome, we have access to metal. There's a lot of things Americans have access to in the post-war era that lets more design be invested into cars.
He began his relationship with General Motors as being a consulting engineer with Cadillac, and then going on to create the LaSalle, which was the companion car to the Cadillac and built by Cadillac. But it was the first car that an automotive engineer, artist fashioned, and for the first time, a car coming off an assembly line was from stem to stern designed by a contemporary artist.
He basically introduced styling as a feature in the automotive industry.
You didn't need to go to a modern art museum back in the 50s. I mean, you could just be stopped at a major intersection at a red light and just look out and see the motoramic masterpieces parked next to you going by.
Harley Earl came in to give us the outline of what we were going to do for the Firebird 3. The key single phrase that he gave, he says, you know, when you go to Las Vegas to see a floor show, you don't expect to see your wife on the stage. You expect to see a real floozy. And that kind of set the picture that he really wanted something way out and extraordinary in this. He was a director that basically got that car out of me, and so I give him, you know, just all the credit for that.
At the end of the 50s, at the golden era of the American automobile industry, the automobile design profession was going to change the automobile industry for the better in the future. And then, of course, in the early 60s and throughout the rest of the 20th century, Harley Earl's legacy got turned into something that nobody could recognize.
Marketing started becoming a major player in deciding what should be done. And it really hurt, a lot of the designers felt hurt, almost crippled in a sense that they were being told to do things that wasn't the way they designed, it wasn't the way they worked. A lot of times the symbol of a car, whether it's a Mercedes or a BMW, I think it's almost the perception of who the car is, and I'm not even sure it's that much difference of what the car actually looks like.
And a car, you can get in and it can announce things that you think you want said about yourself.
And people that buy that car are saying, yes, I believe in the same thing.
The poet Rumi said, conventional thinking is the ruin of our souls. Something borrowed we mistake as our own. And I think art cars is the highest octave of that kind of realization that the things inside of you that need saying can be said in your vehicle.
I mean, there's been people doing weird stuff to cars long before any of us. We're not, I'm not the first one to do it by any stretch of the imagination. There's been, crazies out there for a long time before me, I mean, I'm glad to be one of them.
Sonia Delaunay, the French surrealist/Dada painter, had painted her car back in the 20s.
More than watchmen for the morning.
And there were these artists that liked to put art in unusual spaces for audiences that weren't prepared to have an art experience. The Dadas were famous for doing art in really weird spaces. They did little pranks on people.
Can't you feel it coming down? A change will surely come around. Can't you feel it coming down?
I think it was just part of their idea that art should be in life. It shouldn't be separate from things and tucked away in galleries.
Something like this, you know what I'm saying? It really you took
blew
the
my
time
mind,
out,
actually. You know what I'm saying? Like we turned around and stopped what we were doing to come, take a picture.
All pictures. Yeah, check that out. I'm emailing them now, sending them out. This is crazy. Creative, different, smart. Were you guys bored?
Nice move. Hey, you want some good stuff?
A long time ago, they said it takes a village to raise a child. And it really does. It takes a village to raise. We all have to be on it with kids. And when I was growing up in a little town, I mean, it's West Texas, and so everybody knew everybody pretty much, and everybody was in everybody's business. And so if I did something wrong, my parents would get called by a neighbor, or case in point was when I was about 12 or 13, I decided I'm going to start smoking cigarettes, but I didn't like my mom's brand, so I decided I was going to get, she smoked Kent's, and I went and got Salem Lights. That's what everybody wanted, was Salem Lights. My whole block wanted Salem Lights. So I went in there and got that, and the local store, and his name is Mr. Hanks, So within about, I don't know, 2 minutes, he called my mother and said, Lynn, when did you start smoking Salem Lights? And sure enough, I got real busted for that one. I got busted, so it was pretty funny. So that's, you know, I hated the man for a long time, but I look back and it was just kind of like, you know, it's okay to be in everybody's business. We're all trying to raise these students. Gentlemen, come here. I don't know where they're supposed to be. They all three have POs. They've got to go visit. Could you talk to this gentleman right here?
Where is it at? Where is he at? Where's she at?
No, they got to leave campus. I'm old school conservative about education and about discipline and that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'll go with you.
Thank you, sir. I care about them a lot. You know, I spent 8 years as a social worker, so I'm not. How can you mess that up? It's like, do you comb it in the morning? Do you really? You know, I know their family situations suck sometimes, but you know, everybody's dead. Everybody's got a story. That's one thing that is stressed in education now is these, you know, these poor little children. You know, they showed up for school. We're so excited. Well, they showed up an hour and a half late. Well, they're at school. Joseph, are you a tad late?
No.
Oh no, of course not you. Of course not. Where are you supposed to be, sir?
I'm on my way.
Okay, I thought so. You look like you're a man with a purpose. There's this weird thing about I can't multitask. Leniency and these poor little children, and it's almost like we are creating we've created an entire generation of victims.
You know, we have some of the greatest fine arts museums in the world. I mean, both the MFA and M&L, but we also have all this innovative art going on.
We have great museums, we have great galleries, but we also have individual artists who do their own thing and share it with the city. We have the Orange Show, we have the Beer Can House, which I absolutely adore. We have the Flower Man's House.
Usually your cutting edge cities are not the big established cities with those so longer histories. They tend to be some of those cities where there's a bustling middle class, where there's affordability, where there's a lot of newcomers, where newcomers are welcome, that they have the size and scale where people are willing to appreciate something innovative. And sometimes they're looked down on by what are considered the art capital of the time. All those things Houston has.
Yeah, well, no one owns this town, you know. There's not a dominant cultural or ethnic or anything group that really established this place.
If you come from somewhere else, you've got to be a little bit open-minded when you go somewhere new, you know, and so I think it encourages an open spirit.
So no one can really claim we're Houston and you're not. I mean, so I think that kind of lends a lot to it, you know, being in such a young city.
I guess in those days, if you go back to the 80s, it's just the beginning of a real art world here.
the museum scene, when I would go down for shows, I was living in Dallas, I would go down for shows in Houston. The openings at the CAM were wild and woolly, just like Houston, and fist fights would break out. I know, I don't know if this is really true, but I was told once that if there wasn't a fist fight at an opening, then it wasn't a good opening. And in fact, if it looked like maybe there wasn't going to be one, then maybe Herethus and Alexander like to start one.
No, wait a minute. Well, I have to say, in those days, Texas were Texas, and fisticuffs occurred. But how we got the reputation for that was that I organized an exhibition of a Spanish artist for the Contemporary Arts Museum, and we had the Kilgore College Rangerettes come and do their routines. And people went crazy. They'd never been that close up to those 18-year-old beauties. I guess that was it. Somebody said the scent in the room changed and it made everybody crazy. But whatever. One of the guys started throwing stuff, and John Alexander started hitting him, and then all of a sudden this vast fight broke out. First fight I'd ever experienced in an art museum. These damn Texans, really. Troublemakers to the core. So from that point on, you get a reputation, you keep it, It's supposed to be tough.
Back then, there wasn't, at that point, huge institutional support for artists. So artists, like in their early 20s, were typically not represented by galleries.
The museums themselves are really bringing, to me, they were playthings for a certain class of people who really like to see the latest art from New York. And you can say that a local artist barely had a chance.
I think, in 1979, the punk rock movement started to happen in Houston, and I think it took the energy fed across to the art world.
Artists and dancers and musicians and actors and actresses were kind of drawn to each other, and the underground that was going around Houston was with the Urban Animals and the Island, which was a punk rock club, and it just kind of has blossomed into a lot of artists at that particular time.
Yeah, a lot of people embrace some of the leftovers of rock and roll, but it was tinged with a little bit of embracing this dystopian idea of a boom culture that was in decline. That was the thing. Houston as this big, kind of derelict junkyard Disneyland. That was our world.
But it was also the freedom of Lawndale. Lawndale was a very free space, and there was lots of room to do all, do whatever you wanted to do. Lots of people doing things. So it was this independent spirit going on. It wasn't about grants or somebody asking you to be in something. It was just about doing it.
The chancellor, the provost, the dean, none of those people asked for anything that Lawndale did. They didn't want Lawndale. Lawndale wasn't on their agenda. Universities are, and even at that time, they were described like big, giant elephants. You had to tickle them to make them move. Everything was an effort to get them to do anything. Still is. Any university. They're all slow and they're all out of touch with the street. If there is a group within the confines of an institution who is willing to, A, be fired. I told my chairman over and over and over, you don't like what I do, fire me. Just fire me.
When I first started there, everything was very stoic and reserved, and by the time I got out of there a couple of years later, after Searles and everybody was there, it was pretty blown wide open.
When I was at U of H, I was in what I like to call the very first art car parade.
I put myself in the cage, and I'm in this white robe, you understand, and my nice frizzy hair all like a windy day, you know.
He got in this thing, and a bee or something stung the donkey that was pulling it.
No, a bee didn't sting the donkey. That wasn't what it was. The pan band was loud, and it scared the mule.
And he just took off down the road screaming.
Broke wild and just ran all down the street, across these people's lawns and flowers.
It was absolute pandemonium.
And I'm really yelling now. I mean, let me out, let me out.
And it was, you know, the first time we did it.
We are about 50 days out, I believe, 50 to 57. I think having the space ready and having the tent ready is a real important thing to try to get the momentum to start going forward. You know, the first weekend, this is the first weekend that we got together to try to work on Sunday, and 2 people showed up. Julian knows about this because for 4 years I guilt-tripped him terribly to come on weekends every year.
And even after I graduated.
After you graduated.
My first year was 9th grade with her, and I mean, we didn't know what we were getting into. We were kind of like these guys are now. I had never seen an art car before I met her. So doing, you know, and then we started the car, not knowing what we were doing. We just kind of went at it, and after that, I've made, I think, 7 cars since then.
It brings me a lot of joy to see, in particular, Julian, who I helped learn how to weld years ago when he was at high school at Waltrip, working with Rebecca Bass. I was told from gallery owners and museum owners that, you know, you gotta be a lot older and that you have to have done, you know, hundreds of pieces of work, and there's no guideline like that to be a part of the parade. And to see him last year with his art and to see his art inspire others.
I learned how to weld with her, and I kind of want to bring that to maybe Daniel. I think Daniel would be pretty cool if he kept welding, maybe making some art with that too.
He taught us, you know, how to do it, and after that, it's hands-on. It's really hands-on training. I love it. I like to build things, that's why.
I did it in high school. Miss Bass taught me how. So I just I'll show him, I'll give him one demonstration, and then I just let him go. So then they'll come up with their own little tricks, like you learn how to put the silicone on in such a way that makes it look better, right, Amanda?
Art is like venting
for me. And if I can take my emotions that I can't handle and I can put them down on a piece of paper, it helps me immensely. And Miss Lindsay, she's like someone I can talk to about my feelings and my emotions, and she's there for me. And she's one of the only people I can talk to about that kind of stuff. And so just art in general has really helped me out a lot.
We're adding the beads on to make it look like fire, because the back part of the van, of course, is hell. Dun, dun, dun.
The back is like looking at life in a negative perspective. And so it's all negativity, death, fire, gloom, hell, brimstone. And then the front of the car is looking at life in a positive perspective. And so it's going to be flowers and light stuff. Like, if you look at life and say life is hard, life's going to be harder for you. And if you look at life in a positive way, life is going to be easier for you. It's all about manifesting your, creating your reality, basically. How you see life is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, spring break for the last art that we made, we were, I think I went to school during the break. And
they're only going to go the weekends before and after, but during the week they're not going to go.
Oh, okay.
They work.
Okay, yeah.
It's like a key 5 or 6 kids always finish the car. They're the ones that always finish the car. I don't know who the key people are, but they may be sitting out there right now. But I know that it's not my car. I don't finish it. It's the students. So.
And the way this whole thing started was I had a friend that had a little car, and she wanted me to paint a small dragon on the door of her car. And instead, I guess I got carried away when I got the car, because I painted the dragon and it wrapped around the whole car. So naturally, when she got it back, she was kind of shocked, but she actually liked it. And then a couple other people asked me to do their cars, so I did their cars for them. And that's kind of how the art car thing got started.
She built a world of her own.
Once I started doing it, I thought, hey, this is great. You can get your art seen by a bunch of people. You don't have to be in a gallery, and especially because it's weird the way artists, sometimes the art crowd is the most surprisingly conservative and closed-minded bunch you ever seen in your life. And I thought this would be greater. You'd get it out there and everybody would see it, and of course that's how it worked out, and it was very satisfying.
We had the Ghetto Blaster, which was the half-track lowrider, had oxyacetylene cannons. And there was an exhibit at the old Lawndale building over on, it used to be part of U of H. And there was a big show there, and I had the piece in, and there were a bunch of people there, the usual art curator types there. And I fired the cannon in the building. You know, it was pointed toward the door. Safety second, always. And it caused quite a commotion. Some people loved it, some people hated it, some people, you know, wanted to put it in a museum, some people wanted to have all of us arrested.
And, you know, we were doing it to create this joy of the ordinary. You know, you take a piece of shit car and you spend a little time with it, and then on Saturday night, when you're in it, you feel great.
The thing about cars is they're really status. They're a lot of, they're many, many, many things to us. They're probably more than any other symbol, they're everything to us. They represent everything. I mean, freedom, sex, status, anything you can think of, a car is to us. When the car no longer has them, this is a great way to bring it back, because you are just suddenly like, you're the star of the road, you know, and that Mercedes that's driving next to you, nobody cares about that because it doesn't have stuff glued all over it to like this one does. I know other people were making them other places, but I actually wasn't aware of it.
I'd say I've got a good collection of titles. I don't even know where a lot of these cars, I don't have a clue. More titles. I don't know, I guess there's 60, 70 titles in there. I don't consider myself a collector, even though I have huge collections of things, because collectors collect things and that's the end of the process. But having a collection, to me, I have nothing that I would not put into a work of art and glue it to something else. Sentimentality I have, but not to the extent of reserving something from anything else. To me, it's all art. Actually, it's all art supplies. The whole world is just art supplies. Yeah, there's some really important works of art in here. This is an almost hard hat. This was part of a series I did on the guards at Buckingham Palace. It was called The Changing of the Guard. He goes and he takes LSD in the morning, and throughout the day he changes a lot.
We play cards down in the valley.
These are car parts for future art cars. Important parts: quads, dual quads, 5 speeds, sailfish. Giddy up, big fella. And then I always wanted to do a Cadillac. This was about the opulence, you know, of America, you know, that we were, you know, the grandest experiment in capitalism, and that we were wealthy. This was just opulence at its most. It was like, you know, to take it over the edge, just dripping with everything. I always thought that a perfect response would be if somebody came up and looked at it and just like threw up on it or something. It seemed like that would be, because it's just like oozing, you know, out of it, this opulence. That it is a political statement. Everything everybody does is a political statement. Anything anybody does, but this was tapered to that. Just America, the beautiful.
Started, you know, with me wanting to do a car because Larry had the CAD and I wanted a car. You know, I wanted to do a hot rod all my life, but didn't have the patience to do a hot rod, so I would build an art car, you know, because I could do an art car in a week or 2 weeks.
The fun never ends down in the valley.
This is not the hottest. This is the other dump is really a much better source, but you know, once in a while you get good stuff here. There's many people economically challenged, financially challenged people that come out here to buy clothing and baby strollers and real stuff, you know, and they can get it, you know, inexpensively. So this is a real resource, but it's only a resource for the poor, you know. You don't see a lot of really wealthy people out here, unless you're a rich artist wanting to buy junk for a decorated car, right? I've never used these things. As we get older, we get closer to an end, and it's very important that you manifest that creativity that you have, you know, before you're done. You got a lot of stuff you want to say, and you need a car is a good vehicle to do it. because you don't have to be a good artist to do a car, okay? You know, it's not about, quote, high art. It's about gluing a bunch of crap on a car.
'84 was Ann Harris with the Art Car Museum did a show in Houston called The Collision with Lawndale, where she brought in a couple of very famous artists, David Best and Larry Fuente from California.
I like the idea that the artists thought that if the museum wouldn't give them a show, they could have a show there anyway by just driving their car up in front of it.
Ann was always very almost radical, and not almost. And her idea was about artists colliding with society, you know, the mores of the day and stuff like that.
When things come together and explode, you know, and they explode into new art forms and new creativity.
The last day, everybody got together and had a real collision in the middle of the museum. Sort of took every other thought away from anything else.
It was just from Texas, you know.
So Collision was a major cultural event in Houston, and it sort of highlighted the fact that there were a number of people who were making art in very public ways.
So I think that we were responding to what was bubbling up already in the Houston art scene, and we wanted to submit a proposal for some kind of action that would kind of foreground what was beginning to be the art car movement.
But we didn't think of it as art car, we just thought of it as art music or art parade.
They want to see you twist.
It was just like, let's just do this. Let's just hit the streets. And
It was a celebration, really. It was a celebration based on what was going on around us.
Yeah, because we had people carrying their artwork. It wasn't just, people just were carrying paintings. I mean, it was nuts. It was really fun. People got into it and they were just like, they just drove all around, I think, most of the day afterwards.
And I think they said Scotty just kept on going and drove down to La Carafe or something.
I mean,
it didn't really end, it just...
Yeah, it just kept going.
It went rogue at the end. It started rogue at the beginning and it ended up rogue at the end. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
My business manager gave me the credit card, which they rarely do in HISD. It's the coveted HISD credit card, and I'm able to go get some supplies.
The red one.
Little red ones. You know what? When I get home, I'm not going to get home till 9 or so. I won't be able to go to sleep till about 11. It takes a while to slow down because I usually am in overdrive. I play with my dogs or talk to them or hang out with them. You know, watch mindless TV or get on the computer. I'm pretty quiet. Maybe a little glass of red wine. Always sleepy time tea before I go to sleep. And I usually just pass out by then. Oh, you don't accept credit MasterCard?
Not MasterCard credit, no ma'am.
Oh, this may have to come out of my pocket. I didn't look at that until I got right here.
$1,000.
Oh, I hope not.
I'm just messing.
Oh, God.
Now this is the doozy.
I know. I got that one going on. Got it? You got fingers? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good one. Shoot. Oh, shoot. God damn it, I didn't want to spend more money. I've spent money today. I spent a lot of money today. It's hard. I have to dip into my savings account. Otra vez. Everybody knows, all my friends know that I'm really busy this time of year. I even had a husband that couldn't handle it. It was just too much because I'm so busy. I'm just so busy. Some people don't like that. I don't give them enough attention. So. My son handled it real well, I think. But it was pretty tough on him. I think Mom was always busy and running around. He worked on a lot of art cars because I just took him with me. So he was always in the parade. He was always there. So it was what we did as a family. That and skating. Family activities. I think a lot of it had to also do is that the Orange Show was not very far away from Lawndale, and people were coming and going, and the Orange Show was always having events. So it wasn't long before a lot of the art crowd was hanging around over there.
A bunch of the students and I would go over there, and it was our hangout place where we go and drink beer and smoke pot.
Sites like the Orange Show and the Beer Can House exist all over the world. They're sites that are built by one person. It's the only work of art these people ever create, and it becomes like their memory stone.
The whole show was built mostly out of just junk and what other people threw away, and I built the show all by myself.
You know, it's all about the history of the Orange as he saw it.
And I got a sign here that says, "Clown found happiness by drinking cold, fresh orange juice every day." Says, "Indian hate bear, bear steals Indian's corn. Indian hate snake, snake bite Indian, poison Indian. Indian hate white man steals all the Indian ideas. White man shoot Indians, take Indian's land. Indian love orange, orange make Indian heat big strong."
He said all the time, "I'll have more people here than go to the Astrodome."
Frankly, everybody in the United States is going to want to see it, and everybody in Houston is going to want to see it. I figure lots of Saturdays and Sundays I'll have 1,000 people out here.
And when the crowds didn't come, I think he just broke down and died.
And then here's a monument here to Confucius. Confucius says, "If you do not want to be criticized, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing."
So the challenge for us after we bought the Orange Show and restored it was, and the challenge to Suzanne Tice, who was our first director, was to create a program that would integrate the Orange Show into the mainstream of Houston's cultural life.
And I saw the connection between art cars and the Orange Show, and I just instantly in my mind thought, that'll be wonderful. All these people will see the art cars and they'll come and see the Orange Show and see what it's all about.
And they went around the block. I don't think the whole thing took 20 minutes. It maybe didn't take 12 minutes.
And I always tell people my job that day was to wake up the people who'd slept on the streets overnight, because they were pretty much the only audience.
There were a few drunks that woke up sitting on the curb and thought they'd gotten some really bad hooch the night before because all these vehicles are rolling past them.
In just 1 year, that was we had 40 entries that first year. The next year we did it again with the festival, and there were 100,000 people that next year. And it's like it never turned back.
You know, they're no different than any other kids that I've ever taught in any of the schools. It's just how we approach it that's different. You know, they're all wonderful kids. They can be, and it's just how we approach it, how we approach them, and what we demand of them. Yeah, we're gonna have to start pulling some. At least like Tuesday, Thursday, maybe we could stay late. If you everybody bring $1, we'll order pizza. I've never taught in a private school. I know that would be different. The closest I came to that type of student was Bel Air. And there was a lot of pressure. The kids had a lot of pressure to perform and from their parents and there was a lot of competition, a lot of stress. The stressors for these kids is more, you know, how I'm pregnant, or, you know, my parents are gone back to Mexico and left me here, or I don't have any money, or we're not eating, and, you know, mom needs to go to the hospital but they don't have insurance. I mean, those are stressors here, so I don't know.
My parents moved to Louisiana when school started, so basically I just have to start working because I'm living on my own now. I work with my uncle, and he makes houses. He makes houses and sells them, so whenever he has work for me to do, I'll go.
Now, my mom done been back in New Orleans since the hurricane, so yeah, I'm going back and probably do what he gonna do, find some work down there, because there's a lot of work down there for get paid decent. It kind of don't matter. I just don't like fast food. Anything other than that, I'll be. Even if it's on the boat or going offshore, it's work.
This side here, you see what I did? Ding, 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 ding. But those pieces, I cut them over here. Now let's. So then you have all these cool little pieces. Well, it's free food, right? And it's because you're going to A&M. Please go. Are your parents invited?
Yeah, I get to take one gift.
And so, are your parents ready to go?
I don't think so. I don't even think my dad remembers.
Why don't you give him a call?
I should.
Take one of these guys with you.
The thing about Herod is that Herod has spent decades really making the art car community cohesive. He is the glue that holds it all together. And I may have been working on art cars before I met him, but most people make art cars today because of Herod. Like most art car artists, he's really got a folk art, ethos. And I think people just respond to that.
Oftentimes there's even dirty diapers, unfortunately. It's part of the reality of living here. But I probably shouldn't even be touching this with my bare hands. When I was a boy, I grew up in the forest in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and I had chickens. I didn't have a TV set, I had chickens. So my mentors were not the popular culture that other kids had. My mentors were these birds, and they taught me everything that I needed to know. one of the reasons why I'm kind of loud and colorful is because I'm taking after the rooster. I see the appeal of the rooster. I see the pride that the rooster has for being alive, the pride for being it, you know, and also gallantly showing off its feathers, you know, just like there's so much pride in that. And so I thought, well, that's my totem animal is the rooster. So other than that, they're a pain in the ass. They fight like hell, and I'm constantly having to sew their heads back on and sew up their bodies from fighting and stuff. He's pretty quick. That's Mojo. This is Oh My God, that was started in 1981 when I was still in high school. So when I did get the car at 16, it just didn't feel right for me. Like a white VW Bug is lame, you know, and I was embarrassed. I didn't want any part of it. So I started painting on the side of the car. I painted a rooster and started painting kind of reggae Rasta because I was into reggae music and chickens. I was doing what I was into, basically. As I was driving the car in Santa Cruz, where I'm from, which is a tourist town, a lot of tourists would see the car and they'd say, oh, have you seen the grass car? Or have you seen the button car? Or have you seen the Lightmobile? And I'd like, what? There's another art car out there? I didn't even know it was called an art car. Is there somebody else that does this? A lot of the artists were visionary. They were very isolated across the country. No one knew about them, and they didn't know about me, or they didn't know about the Houston Art Car Parade. They didn't know that there was anyone else but them. Here's how it works. You're not supposed to do art cars. You're not supposed to change your car. You're not supposed to do anything like that. So when Houston started the first art car parade, it was saying that it's okay to do this.
The phone rings and there's this, you know, guy on the phone. He said, I heard you did some kind of parade.
And then Suzanne would give me all the information that I would need in finding new artists that I didn't know about.
Herod just, you know, without any plan involved, just was telling people, well, there's this group in Houston, they're doing this parade, you ought to go.
I helped her get new art cars for the parade. And I would actually go around the country soliciting people to go to the parade.
It kind of fed into what we were building in Houston. I mean, we didn't start off by any means to build a national network of art cars, but Herod helped that happen.
And in the later years, like 94, 95, I actually organized these caravans of 20 to 30 art cars to go to Houston.
How you doing, Fred? I'm doing great! How are you doing, Herod? Are you going on a road trip? I was born in a boat made of basket, floating downstream, rolling like a casket, rolling like a casket, floating downstream. Oh, 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 oh. We're here on the side of the freeway going 5 south.
You know, we lost one. We lost an art car already.
Either the clutch cable snapped.
We've been on the road 2 hours, maybe?
Jim's going a little crazy. Having 2 cars break down in the first 200 miles is just nailing him. He can't stand it. The pressure is building. We're just trying to get to LA. The caravan has just begun. Rolling down, and I found River Saint. Mama, she thought
at a fucking McDonald's?
Hi, I'm Dan Lowhouse reporting live from the pantry. I'm on drugs.
7 year gone, met with 7 young maids, sent from the shepherd, the birds in flame, birds in flame, sent from the shepherd, oh, 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 rolling down, and I found a river the same, a river the same, a river the same, a river the same.
I need for you guys to come around here, please. Everybody. That would be you too, Alicia. Is that everybody? All right. 2 weeks from today, this thing has to be done. There is a handful of students that comes here every single day. We all have to work together. Not one person. We can't, 5 people can't finish this car in 2 weeks. Just stand up and be counted for this. This is your class. Right? You wanted to do this. We got something that needs to be done, and you're not here. You're waiting for somebody else to do it. I am only rewarding people who do their job. We are going to win first place whether you show up or not. We get that $1,500. You didn't put in your 110%. I'm not taking you anywhere. You understand that? I think the people that work their asses off deserve that. Do you think that's fair? I think it's fair. Just because you happen to show up for class every single day doesn't mean you get to go on a trip. I'm not being a bitch. I'm being a realist. You signed up for this. And this is not your typical Sam Houston class where you can just sit on your ass and get a grade. We just kind of shove you along. This is an art car class, but it's up to you. I mean, I've had this discussion 2 weeks ago, and some of y'all started coming, right? I sat up here and said, I'd love to have my life back. I didn't get home until 9:40 yesterday. 9:40. That was my day, and here I am again. It's just what you have to do. It's 14 little days. You've got the tax testing next week. Y'all are going to be busy. After tax testing, get out here. You've got your senior trips. You've got the prom. You can do all that and this too. You just won't sleep well. All right? I mean, are we in this or not? We all have little parts we have to do. Is anybody confused? All this stuff right here, this is going to take forever. And you're going to start on that. She's working on this thing. It's beautiful. Did you see the raccoon? It's beautiful. Her walrus is beautiful. The yellow submarine is beautiful. We're doing a great job. We just have to finish it. Okay? Are we in it? Are we going to do this? Let's all do this. Come on, let's do this. Come on, come on, y'all. It's like a team. Let's do it. Get together. Come on, everybody. Move your hands. I'm going to stand up here and act like a fool until you do it. All right. Come on. Awesome. Power Rangers. Power Rangers. Power Rangers. Power Rangers. All right, we got it. We're going to finish it. I'll be here this afternoon and tomorrow, Friday until at least 8 or 9. Then Power Rangers. Y'all are so funny.
Oh, then it's a very sad day. When the car doesn't run anymore, it's a very sad day for the art car artist. What do you do with it? You know, bring it to you junk it. There's a lot of times they'll take like the door off and they'll have it as a piece of art.
You got it? All right, I got it too.
my ex-wife, my most recent ex-wife, there have been a couple, good ladies all. Anyway, she made a Santa car with the hat. So this hat has actually been on 3 cars. I'm not what you would call a very prolific car artist. I've had, let's see, 7 art cars, 4 of them have been the same thing. It's not what you would call very prolific, I guess. But, you know, once you found something you're good at, and at some point over the years, during my first Santa car and now, I've begun to look more like Santa himself. And again, that wasn't really a planned endeavor. At no point did I ever wake up and say, oh, I'm going to get like extra fat and grow a white beard.
Our cars live in a dangerous world. When you drive a car, it could get hit, it could get stolen, it could have mechanical problems and die. It's almost like an animal.
We're in the former Comet rice mill where art cars come to sleep. There's about 20 art cars here. About half of them run, or could run if they had just a head gasket, a timing belt, you know, a major surgery. But you know, 90% of the car is good. It's just the 10% that makes it go down the street that's not working at this time. Like any, you know, really good piece of art, it has a time when it's relevant and then a time when it's less than relevant. So maybe shouldn't be seen all the time. Should go into hiding, go into storage, and then come back out as something new, or, you know, reframed or reformatted. Irv, the Psychedelic Sob, was one of the very first art cars in Houston. That 0 on the inspection sticker is not 2010, it's not 2000, it's 1980.
My entire life has been defining what this is. My entire life has been saying, no, this is okay to do this.
The Art Car Museum is on the other side, and it splits this big building in half.
Every year, a couple of more cars come in, and we're just trying to keep up with providing a safe place to store them until Herod's able to really develop his museum into something that can be curated and be comfortable for customers to see.
They require a lot of maintenance. You know, even these cars here, all of them need maintenance, mechanical and artistic. We could shut these chickens up if you guys want, because they're pretty distracting unless you like them. It's a strange passion. A lot of people tell me I should give up. I should get out of this art car thing. Why are you still doing this? Or, oh, you're a grown man in a sandbox. I'm like, a grown man in a sandbox? That means that I'm still a child. What's wrong with that? You know, why can't we have a child's energy anymore?
So the fact that you put all this love and effort into something that will probably go away invests the art car with a lot of power, I think. That's one of the things, that's one of the messages people receive right away, even though they don't translate it, which is why they're so excited about it. Because we do all this and it's not going to last. And that's a beautiful thing.
Ah. Breakfast in Chicago beef, anybody?
Oh my God, I'm so tired.
I haven't slept at all. I got home like, what, 3 in the morning last night? 4?
I got home at 4.
Like 4 in the morning, 3, something like that. Woke up like at 7, 8 in the morning. Tired, man.
Miss Bass has never not completed a car, and she's always been able to inspire her students to be able to complete a car. And this is hurting her pretty bad on the inside.
She's really drained from this one. Yeah, I mean, she was with us too, but this one I can tell, like, got her. Yeah.
So she sent out our call for help, and so the club came to help.
But you still met me where I stood. As the story still unfolds, overthrown and through the wood.
Can't get through to all of them, and it hurts her really bad because she feels like it's a big failure for her. And it's not a big failure. She's made a huge difference in so many lives. But when you're smack dab in the middle of Art Car and you've been working and working and spending your own money, and you're in crunch time, it's hard for you to see the bigger picture of what you've done.
Yoko, the chick that dated, what's his face?
John Lennon.
John Lennon. Who?
What did she do?
They assumed that she was the one who broke up the Beatles, supposedly. But
You did listen.
I know, I
Oh, you're
listened.
so good.
At times I listen.
14 artists out here came out here to help us. I appreciate it a lot. You don't see that often around. Well, I hardly ever see it that other people will come and help, just to help, I guess. So that's nice.
It's a big family they're a part of right now.
Yes, it's amazing. It's hard to see that around here sometimes.
These kids are just now stepping out in the real world. And so this is, they're learning how to be adults. And I'm hoping that this experience helps them realize that adults help each other out and do what they've got to do. It's not panic. No, this is, we're going to make it. You're going to make it. We're going to make it. Somebody, yeah, we're going to make it. You have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're really teaching, you're giving something, an awareness that a human being has a great power, transformative power in their own life, and most of us just don't even use it. What I like is Vincent van Gogh's quote, and he wrote, "The more I think, the more I feel that there is nothing more truly artistic than to love people."
car number 15. I'm standing in front of an art car and it feels really good.
Life is ever changing. My art is changing with my life, that I don't do the same that I did 20 years ago. You need to look deep in your life, what you did learn. Sometimes you have to forget what you did learn. I learn every day. I learn every day.
This is something that is distinct to America. I mean, there's nowhere else in the world this could occur. This is one of the greatest confluences of creative forces and automobile technology that you'll ever see in your life. It's just really exciting, as we're going to see today.
I'm really excited. Today's a big day. We waited this over 4 months. I mean, so far we're like impressing people. Which, like, I don't know, everybody likes our cars.
Voting for us.
Yeah, they're already voting for us.
I don't even think it's already open. It's really nice. It's awesome.
You know what? I'm doing a show on the History Channel called Only in America, and this is one of the things we plan to do.
Oh, he said he could drive a tractor, so I think he's good. I think you can drive a tractor, I'm damn sure drive a roach.
Good to me. I figured I'd fit on a roach.
Nobody tell me what I mean, 'cause I
Most of us are not what I would call generally normal people. I think that the common thread that binds us all is the fact that we glue and paint things on our cars, we inhale fumes, we have a great time doing it. We play together, we make events together all through the year, but this event is the big event that we work toward and we love so much because we are, as the back of my window in my car says, the art car capital of the world. That's where you live, that's where I live, that's what we cultivate year round as we drive our cars.
One last prize. This is the Lamb's Cup. Rebecca, you better come back up.
And I've got to thank the Orange Show because they have made me a better teacher.
Then again, some people just want transportation. You know, they just want to get from point A to point B and they don't want to be bothered. And that's the masses, you know, for the most part. I can understand that too. But the world's a lot more exciting when you have some art cars around.
Six come out of